Okay. I'm in for the earth signs, Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. In that order. Move things around here. So I'm just going to get to it. Most of you guys follow horoscope stuff, you know the drill. It's general and all of that, may not apply. If it does, I hope it helps you. So here we go. Earth, Capricorn, first card. Knight of Swords. Sorry. Okay, Knight of Swords. That is quickest guy in the deck. So you may be out of your element here. I'm moving in a direction quite quickly. This guy's always trying to get to the bottom of things, but sometimes he may be disproportionate. That's the word they gave me. Out of sorts, this kind of thing. That's the sense I get. We're fired up about something going forward to get underneath things, and we are out of our element, so moving a lot quicker than we normally do. In fact, to extremes. So what's going on? Next card, Judgment. I'm trying to make some decisions here. Look at that. She's directly, and look at how they're glowing. It's like this man is running on instinct here and highly charged, going in a direction with some kind of decision that's come down. I feel like he's following his instinct highly, and it's leading him, pushing him forward quite quickly. So the next card, Nine of Cups. This is interesting because the Nine of Cups is about wishes and dreams and hopes being fulfilled. So this is the direction he's headed. He wants to get the Nine of Cups. He wants to get his dreams, wishes, and hopes fulfilled. The universe giving him insight. I feel like he's heard the call and now he's taken off. So wow, this is interesting. Knight of Swords, differences. I did shuffle. I spent shuffling. So he may be conflicted is the sense I get with something here. I feel like he's highly driven by instinct again, but there may be something mentally that's conflictive, okay, with this, but he's moving in that direction no less. But his mind, I feel like his mind is holding him back here. But I mean, he's moving, but there's conflict, okay? So differences, talking about apples and oranges here, but I feel like that's between his heart and his mind, maybe. Or his instinct and his mind, really. Top of the Judgment, second round 2 is what they said. So we might be coming around to something here. And instead of using our head, we're going to use our heart or our mind or our instinct here. Something's changed in the way we're moving forward. To expand on that Judgment, we get Vision. I'm going to read this. Tell me to read it. So I'm going to read it. But I'm going to go instinctively here first. Vision is about what we, in our mind, it's a very mental card. We're trying to figure out something here. We have a vision of what we want to make our dreams come true. Something is opposing this. There's energy that's opposing this. And I feel like this guy's going to get rid of that. There's something in the way here. We got to get rid of this because I know what I want and I'm going to get it. And whatever's in the way is going to get thrown out. Really, it's the sense I get. So Adonis here, I'm going to read. What they have in the book. Okay, it says, it means that no matter what you lose in your life, something better will replace it. Interesting, okay. One day in my house of night, there will be a young, beautiful vampire who will lose her mark, but gain great vision into the future. And even if a loss feels devastating at the moment, you still have so much to gain. If your question is about the future, choose another card. What do you know? We have one card to go. So the magical vision that you will receive here gives you the temporary power to see the future as a vast place full of possibility and potential. Your next card will provide insight into the conditions ahead of you, and to know the future is to be prepared. I feel like that instinct here, I feel like this is speaking highly to him, giving him a push, because I mean, we're talking about Capricorn, and that's Pentacles energy, that's Earth energy. They're slow, steady, turtle kind of, this is the way we go. But something's overridden that highly. It has to do with about his dreams, making his dreams come true. And it also has to do with an instinct he feels highly. I feel like that's what's driving here. He's got the horn going, do this. And he's going, okay, I'm good. So in the sense here with the second row is we may have either come out of a relationship here where there's just too many differences to make things work. And we have a vision for our future and how we want to make things in the future. And this is what we're headed to. So next card, it's all in this card. Fragment. Ooh, interesting. Because I'm gonna read here again, but sense I get here is we're not so single in our vision. It's like a fork in the road. Like we want one thing, but we want two things at the same time. So that's what I get with this fragment. It's like it's not just one thing that we want. So that may be the conflict here. There's something here we want, but there's something about it that creates a fork in the road. So we're trying to figure that out, right? Might be differences from the past coming forth, but also in the future, there may be a choice that we have to make, even in the direction that we want to go, if that makes sense. Fragment, I'm going to read that. Yeah. And they're also saying this man was highly fragmented in the past. So I'm getting a male energy here, highly. Someone who couldn't make up their mind. And if they did, it was 50-50. Like there was not 1% more that he could put on one side. So he really was at a crux point where he couldn't make a decision. Now, some kind of instinct has overridden that need to make a decision has come forth. And I feel like this is the fragmenting part that's sticking out here. So it says here, sometimes it seems that life is split into too many small parts. All of them are separate and difficult to bring together. Difficulties bringing things together. Because they're saying second round or, yeah, because there's something just didn't work. And I feel like this has to do with that. Family, friends, work, study, activities can all seem unrelated to each other, but you are always whole. Even if at times things feel separate and fragmented, it's only an illusion. And choosing this symbol reminds you that all the moving parts in your life are important. If you're the one asking about, hold on here. If the one you're asking about seems confusing, focus on the one that brings you clarity. But hear now and know that I love you and see you as beautiful and whole, regardless of how disconnected things seem. Also, remember to take a step back when you're trying to understand something. You may be looking at only one piece of a giant puzzle and a fragment of the truth. So see a bigger picture through my eyes, and no matter what, all is well. So the fragmenting may be that you got a lot of, I do feel this person has a lot going on, work, family, and a lot in their family going on as well. Like certain people in different aspects, like a lot coming at this person. Heavy. So not only are they trying to deal with every little thing, but they're needing certain types of themselves to deal with these things to a degree that it takes away from this focus of finding a partner and going in that direction. And this is the thing here. Yeah, so if you're confused, focus on what brings you clarity and go in that direction, and things that are fuzzy, leave those to the tail end type thing. Come back around to those, but focus on those things first. that bring you clarity, and hopefully that'll help. Okay, love cards to help you overcome some of this. The difference is, again, I felt like it could be a head over instinct, which is hard to suss out at times, or head over heart, or things like that. Like there's a splitting of what I should do and what I feel, stuff like that. Okay, so to clarify that, it says listen with your heart. I did shuffle. You're listening to what is being said, but you need to listen with a loving heart. So we may be very logical in our way, right? Because that's a Capricorn earth trait. Be very logical about things, but we need to listen from our heart, because that will clarify more clearly where you know, clear the road for where you need to go. Jeez, okay, hold on here. Mess. Vision. Again, I was getting highly here that we are kind of up in our mind, and even though we may be thinking about our future, there's a lot of strings tugging at us at this point, and prioritizing is a real mess here, is what I get the sense of. So the love card on top of that to help out is appreciate the moment. Each and every situation has an opportunity to grow and find love. And I do feel like this Capricorn is kind of looking to the future, like they're skipping over the now and looking to the future plans, but they need to really deal with the now. And maybe that's what it is there's too many people tugging at this person. So they're really not able to get to the future. Like, how do I explain that? There's a real sense here this person just has too much on their platter, and they're really trying to tackle it all, and they just won't put anything down, or they won't say I need help, or this kind of thing. So there's a sense of really trying to tackle too much at once, and we're losing perspective on everything here. We can make wrong decisions in many areas if we don't really appreciate the moment and look what's happening right here, right now, and deal with that first, and then slowly. This is usually something I would see an earth sign being on top of, but for some reason it's very scattered at this point. So on top of the fragment card, they got treasure your loved ones. It's important to love others deeply. So this is like focusing on one area, right? One person, one area, one direction, and dealing with that fully and completely. Here we have a mother and child, I think. Yeah, or grandmother and child, it could be. This may be a scenario. We may be looking after children at this time where we got too much going on. We can't focus on the child. So they're going, treasure the ones you love, the ones that you're right in your immediate moment, in your physical space. Deal with that and then go outward. Okay. So now we're going to go into the love and intimacy side of things. The first card, again, still Capricorn energy. We have the High Priestess, and I feel like this is your energy. You are taking your instinct and knowledge forward, but the High Priestess doesn't talk too much. She holds it in. She doesn't necessarily go outwards and share any of it. So we're just kind of taking things in at this time, and I feel highly the major thing we're taking in is our instinct, right? Because it's been yelling at us and we're listening to it, but we're not going outward, and we're not really, I want to say we're not making decisions from it, but we're moving. We're taking movement forward from it, but we're not speaking of it, I think is the thing. Okay. So highly motivated to move swiftly because of what's going on in our instinct. And we'll see if we can uncover more here as we go on. Next card, Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is about, okay. Yeah, they said this is about leaving. So we may have a relationship we're leaving here. Now it's interesting because usually I tune this to mean someone wanting someone to know that they're cared for, but they don't want to be known for that. Meaning like a secret admirer that is never ever going to come to the surface, but we want that person to know that they're loved, but we don't want to come forth to show it. So this may be a scenario, but the sense they're giving me here is we're laying a rose down and leaving now. So this may have been something in the past we did, but now we are leaving the whole situation altogether. I feel like this was a bit of a process. We had to learn something here. And this may be what our instinct is telling us to. This may be why we either decided, yeah, we're going to go. So we're heading in a different direction, or we know what we want. And I just feel like this person here, they're leaving them. They're leaving a rose and they're going goodbye. That's what I'm getting. Okay. So the next card, we'll see if we can clear this up here. The Empress. Now the Empress could be a mother figure, a wife. They're showing here puppies in the back. So it's symbolizing someone we may have family with, we may have children with. Now, are we leaving a marriage? Are we leaving a partnership where we have invested children in here? Or what's going on? Now, next row is infinity. So we're going to get underneath here, hopefully. On the 2, the High Priestess talks about the intuition and the knowledge that we're gaining here. We've gained some wisdom somehow, whichever way this goes. And the expansion card is chemistry. So we may have found some chemistry with someone here. Again, I feel like we're leaving a partnership, so it's obviously not in that direction. We may have found someone we got a lot of chemistry with, and they're going there gently, trying to gently release this relationship from, they're saying the past, but I get a sense that it's very much in my face. Okay, it may be because we have children or whatnot. Now, on top of the 10, which again, I was getting the sense of someone leaving the rose and that's it. They're out the door and they're never coming back, which is not what I usually get from that card, but that's what I'm getting. I get 53, which is a warning. Danger. Okay. So it's almost saying like, be careful how you let this go, or be careful how you do this. And in my circles, I think they're talking about karmically. Be careful that we don't do this in a too devious a way, or too hurtful a way. I don't know, but I don't see him as being hurtful, just more not wanting to be seen as leaving. So you got to be careful how that sits, right? So there's a warning here of how we're doing things. We got to be careful. Now on the Empress, what do we have there? We got our ego. Okay, so either we have someone here that we're attached to that has a high ego, a partnership, or be careful how, give me a minute here. Yeah, we either got a partner that's got a high ego, or our ego is high in this relationship, or both, right? I'm trying to figure out this energy here. Is this the partner we're leaving, or is this the partner we're going to? I don't know. Okay, we'll go another line here and see if we can figure it out. Yeah, fragmented, no kidding. So we have our instinct, okay? We've found some chemistry here. And it may be instinctive, something we've seen, or you have, yeah. 11 of Cups. Now, this is the Page of Cups. Now, in this deck, he's good, because a lot of times you can get emotional immaturity from the Page, but this guy, he's got no mask. He's coming forward to bear everything. So that's true of heart. He can be somewhat naive, but very true of heart. So that's a good omen. Now, this is things that we're keeping to ourselves, is the sense I'm getting. We found chemistry with someone, okay? And we know things about them, or they know things about us, or there's knowledge here that's been gained, okay? Now, because of that, we feel quite whole and open-hearted, and we want to go forward in this way. So let's see. Now, here's the warning, right? Warning. And the clarification card is 20, Judgment. This is interesting. Okay. That's our immediate past. They're going, we're laying things down here. We got to be careful how it's done. Okay. So there's a warning here. Be careful. We can make huge mistakes here if we're not careful. And this guy, he's in the King of Swords energy. He's super speed, man. So he can make mistakes quite quickly. And that's not even his energy, so that it's even more exploded. On top of him, we have the Judgment. Now, the story behind this card is this man is looking at this woman, and he's going to decide how he's going to treat her. I feel like that's the energy here. We may be going forward quite quickly, but have we had time to process things? I don't know. Now, on top of this Empress, she can also signify a mistress. Okay, keep that in mind. Interesting how alike these two kind of look. Anyway, ego's in the mix here with somebody. Now, on top of that, we get the Ten of Pentacles. Now, the Ten of Pentacles is about financial prosperity, and this man is really asking to marry this woman. He's bending down to, in the book, that's what it says, asking to marry. So this woman is going to marry into money, financial abundance, and whatnot. Now, it seems like this man is very open-hearted in a direction that he wants to go forward in, but he may be having a situation he may be either sneaking out of or trying to get out of, or we may be just at the end of the rope here with a relationship, but there's ties here yet, and they may even be financial ties. We got to be careful how we deal with things, because it could affect that highly. Okay. Now, this is still iffy, like it doesn't really give me anything decisive. So one deeper, this is the end of the road here. On top of the 11, again, that's a good start because it's talking about being open-hearted, vulnerable, and bearing all to a partner. Somewhat naive, but nonetheless pure of heart. Okay. On top of that, we get the Death card. Now that talks about endings and transitions. So if we go back to this past relationship, where we're trying to lay that rose down and move forward, I feel like this man is really just trying to make a decision to end things and transition, right? Because they're creating an ending here of a physical partnership, at least ending the sex, okay? And moving forward honestly in a new direction, okay? So again, warnings. There's things here that are we need to be aware of. And this is kind of the energy in the middle. Again, this guy's wearing a mask. This other one's wearing no mask. So there's somebody here we are masking ourselves to, and someone here where we are our true selves with. And I think that needs to be taken into account. And the money has to do with something here overall. Now, on top of the Judgment, which is where we have our mask, we have Justice. Now, this could talk to legalities, can talk to divorce, absolutely. Legal things that have to happen, and that may be the setting of the rose here, right? Legal divorce. It's maybe we're at the point here where we're officially in separation and we got to wait our 12 months before it's official, or we are past that 12 months and we're laying the rose down and now it's official and justice is here. I can go unbounded in the direction I want to go. Now, the Ten of Pentacles, money is highly prized here. On top of that, we get Temperance. So being careful in the money direction is what I get. Now, and it's also, yeah, there's a sense here that there's a divorce, and there could be, it's like one beaker pouring into another to balance things out, make sure things are equal. And justice is there saying we are going to make damn sure legally that things are equal. So if you are in a position where you're going to court, I feel like you'll get a fair shake here, a fair deal. It will be fair under the eyes of the law, right? Different people, if they expect they have two too high an expectation that could be very defeating. But at the same time, I think justice here will prevail overall. It will be balanced. And some people don't want it to be balanced, so for them it will be an imbalance. But those are the ones that are going to have to work on things and whatnot. I feel like there's a transition here, maybe even a divorce, an official paperwork is drawn up, absolutely, and signed, and we're in the final stages of being completely released, is what I get. And it may have to do with the last part of finances. Because the sense I get here with this, which I normally don't, is that once we, and it's interesting that the beaker is there. And here, there's chemistry they've got in a new direction, and they've still got stuff they're pouring out in an old direction. So we're going to make sure that's all balanced and that's all tied up. And I get the sense that's like in a divorce or officials or financials. And then I'm free to go here. And I think the warning card that I'm getting here is just be careful that you do this above board. Don't do anything below, like, okay, some of the marriages, you got to wait 6 months, separated for 6 months. And then after 6 months, you can go your own ways. It's like, I get the feeling like this person started a relationship in between there, kind of, that kind of thing. So just be careful of that. We can trip ourselves up and kind of cause more ruckus than we want at this time. So that's really the warning. Here's a transition, absolutely. Legalities and balance within that, in the sense I'm getting, is it's going to be fair for everybody, but the people involved may have their expectations out of whack, and this may cause problems. But for justice, it will be fair outcome, especially in financial areas. Okay, nobody will get more than they deserve. Okay. Wow. Okay, the planetary card is Sun in Capricorn. So you are where you need to be. Exactly. It's talking about status. That's interesting when they bring the money up here. Work diligently towards your goals. It is Sun in Capricorn, 1 and 0. 1 is about new beginnings. Status is something that is highly prized here. And the sense they give me too is like, it's a long walk up here, but we're going to make it. The sun is shining and we know where we're going. The road is clear. It's just going to take a lot of work. We know this, so we're prepared. And I feel like that's that energy of the swords. You just run and he's like, it's going to be a work, but this is what I want. And it may have to do with status and how we gain our way forward. Again, if there's any sense of a divorce going on, I feel like they're not going to lose their status. Like if you're thinking, I'm going to lose everything, it will be balanced and it will be just. Meaning, because I do get a sense here of imbalance within the relationship. Somebody's trying to take more than they're worth, and that will not be allowed to happen. So just know, if that's what you're fighting against, just let that go. That will not happen. It will not be allowed to happen. It will be fair. One person has too high expectation. I do not feel it's the Capricorn. I feel it's on the other side of the Capricorn, and they are just trying to gain everything, and they do not deserve it, so they will not get it. Okay. And in the meantime, the Knight of Swords, I feel like that's your energy. You are, even though it is out of your element, you are where you're supposed to be, and you're going in the direction you're supposed to be. So everything's perfect. This is the second card that got their own element. So I find that interesting. Okay. So that's Capricorn. Not a bad reading, really, overall. There's some changes and fragments going on. Fragmenting of energy. You're wearing yourself too thin, dealing with other people's stuff. So we just need to zero down to what's right in front of us, focus on the present, and then things will open up for us better. Okay, 29:15. Okay, so now Virgo, first card for Virgo. Temperance. We end up where we left off with Capricorn. So that is a balancing of the energies. Virgo is everything has to be a certain way, and they're very on that. They're very aware of that. I feel like this is just part of that, being overly attentive to making sure that In their life, everything is balanced at this time. Next card is the devil. Well, that's interesting because that could be the exact opposite. We may be tempted in a direction here is really what I'm getting. And if we're in the love zone, it could be that exact place. We may have something here that's stirred up a fire in us that's may create an imbalance where we don't want it. Okay. Next, the Chariot. Wow. Manifesting. So there may be something manifesting in your future here that will throw us off our normally scheduled program, meaning the control that we think we had over our life. We may have someone walk in here and just throw all that throw all that off, because the sense I'm getting here is Virgo's quite in charge. They're not like an emperor where they go outward and they rule over others. They're just highly that way towards themselves, is the way I'm reading the energy here. And the sense they're going is all that control you had on yourself, look out, because there's something coming in here. It's going to throw you into a complete imbalance. And it may be in a sexual way, maybe in an attractive way, it may be in an emotional way. We'll see. So as we clarify the next line here on the Temperance card, we get wishing. So what do you know has to do with wishes? So we may be wishing I'm getting a partner. We may be wishing for a certain type of partner, certain connection with a partner, yearning for something more than what we've had, this kind of thing. I feel like I'm cutting my face off here. I feel like it's coming. We may not even see it coming, and we may want it, and we may hope for it, may be wishing for it, but we don't know it's coming. Now, the devil, I feel, is the energy that is going to hit us once we realize this is everything I ever wanted, kind of thing. On top of that, we get the moon, which is not good, because that's about secrets and whatnot. Now, be careful. What you're holding for secrets is what they're telling me forward, because that could get us into trouble here for being too secretive in our life here. Are we in a relationship wishing for something better, and then boom, there it comes, and we don't inform anybody about the direction we're going? This is what I'm getting. The Chariot, again, a lot of relationships are in flux, so it's kind of like they're over, but they're not over, and this is the sense I get as well. On top of the Chariot, and again, that's about this woman is manifesting. She's thinking from her mind, and what do you know, it's coming behind her. She doesn't even know it's coming yet. We have listening. I got to read these little words because they're telling me there's something in here. It says, darkness does not always equate to evil, and light does not always bring good. So we may, like love at first sight, we may see something out there visually, but watch for secrets and temptation that this person may not be on the light. Like we may see her as a vision in white, but be careful because there's a little pitchfork there. That's the sense I get through here. And again, listening, taking in your surroundings, listen to what this person says, what comes out of this person towards you, or because I feel like there's, and in past readings as well, this was reflected. I feel like there's an eruption of emotion that comes forward from this Virgo male is what I'm getting. But again, it could be female in a certain direction. So they got to be careful because that's going to be very overwhelming and very magnetizing. So they kind of want you to take it all in stride here. So some love cards to help you. 19 on the wishing, okay, hoping and praying. It says focus on love. Look for the good attributes in each and every person in your life, but beware. There could be some whatever, but focus on the good is good, right? Focus on love. And again, she's kind of, hey, I don't know if she's feeding him what it is there, but she's trying to get him to come forward. And I feel like the Virgo is yearning for that energetically. They're yearning for a partner to come forward. And that just may be what's happening here. Consider your foundation is on the moon. You are being asked to look at how committed you are to love. And that makes me think of a commitment that we are in. We may be in a commitment and yearning for another one. Okay, so be aware of that. And the sense is we're not very committed to the one we're in, so we need to deal with that first. On the listening, we get choose love. You always have a choice as to what you should do. So if you are in betwixt, choose the one that comes from your heart. Just like that little, you know, I don't know. I think that's a little family, is it? Yeah, it's a family, like a mother and children, and they're showing all these children, family settings. So I feel like you may have family here that you have to deal with in a way. It's interesting because I don't get a sense of a partner yearning, but I feel like there's a partner there, but there's no invested emotion, which is sad. But anyway, so that's what I'm getting there. Now we'll move into the romance area. This should be interesting. First card, again, we're still with Virgo. I shuffled. Page of Canes. So again, what do I want? What is the perfect thing? And they have a vision in their mind. It's a statue at this point, but it could become real life quite quickly. They're ready and prepared to go forward to that on certain levels. This is what I get. Not all levels, but that may change here. Hold on. Next card, Four of Pentacles. Okay. So we may have our sights set on someone because this is a man overlooking a woman. The woman has no idea she's being watched. She's just, I don't know, gone out and playing in the sheep grounds, whatever. So this guy's overlooking her, has, how you say, like a secret admirer, okay? And this seems to line up with the energy of what he wants in a partner. So sense here, what's he going to do? Next is the Nine of Swords. Now, Nine of Swords is about a mirror. So this man is putting a gifting as well needs to be taken into account here. So this man may see someone that he wants to lavish his gifts upon. Now, Nine of Swords is real. Is it this? No, it's Pentacle. No, it's the Swords. Is really about pampering someone, but also having someone in your midst that is quite a reflection of who you are, because there's a, you know, the mirror there. And that's the essence that they wanted to convey from the deck, is that there's a couple here that are very much alike. So you may be meeting someone or have your eye on someone that may be going through the same process that either you have gone through or will be going through or whatnot. Like there's a lot of similarities between you and this new partner. So infinity cards, Page of Wands, the ideal. This is my ideal, da da da. Not only do we have a mental picture, but we seem to have a physical picture outside of ourselves. It's matching up with what we want here. Now, on top of that, we get looping. Oh, okay. So what this means is a merry-go-round. It spins in circles. Be wary that we don't jump out of something and jump right into something that is exactly what we left, because that's the sense that this card gives, is you know, going out of one and going right back into. It may have a different view, but the qualities are the same. You're going to run into the same qualities. So when someone's looping, it means that they didn't take the lessons from their last relationship and incorporate them into the new one. So be aware of that, because that'll help you. If you have learned and truly take those lessons forward, you can get rid of the looping card. Is the sense I get. Now, this is the sense that we have our eye on someone here in the physical, and we're quite wired with that, okay? Like we want to go, yeah, female. So the object, and this is a single female. So we are, whether we're in a relationship or not, looking at a single female that we of interest for sure. There may be a distance physically, or just a distance as we just will not make that connection to let that person know yet, okay? So as we go into the mirror, and again, I feel like this is about the new way forward, but it could be something maybe that we're going from, I don't know, we have opposites attract. So I do feel like this is somewhat, now it's interesting because it is earth and water, so you may be a water sign that you're interested in. That's Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. But someone who, even though you're opposing, there may be some high similarities in your life, no less. I think what they're talking about here is opposites attract, is whatever you're deficient in, the other person is proficient in. So it makes a very good balance. Okay, so this is really good so far. Now we get into the sex side again, 18 plus. So the looping energy, be careful how much we, make sure that we take some lessons forward here from the last relationship, that we don't just block off the relationship, jump into another one that's going to end up in the same way. On top of that, we get the Ace of Cups. So this is interesting because that's about new emotions, new heart-centered way to go, and a new relationship. It could bestow a new relationship upon us, right? The opportunity to do that. And also with the Ace of Cups, when it comes from the sexual side, it means that we have a lot of emotion to give. That's the way I take it, because they're in Italy there with the streets and the water in the streets. This is just a symbol of emotions, and it's like they're flowing. They're ready to give outward. So whatever that says, however that fits. Now, the single person that they've got their eye on, okay? We have the Six of Swords. I'm going to read this one. No, that's about fast movement away. So yeah, the sense here is there's a new love that has struck us, and we're now quickly moving in that direction, really. Six of Swords is about movement towards something. I'm just going to see if there's something else in here that I'm missing. Travel, curiosity, and transience, right? Evaluations, transience, yeah, going from one to the other. That is in line with what I get as well. So again, this new partnership that you're going to, it may be someone that you feel very, how do I explain that? Kind of not exotic, but very different than you've ever come across is really what I'm getting. Someone in your midst here that is just completely encompasses everything that you don't know about. But yet, when you get together and you start swapping stories, I feel like you're going to realize that you're very similar, right? So there's ways you're different, but there's also a lot of ways that you guys are similar. So there's that energy. Now, the next card that goes on top of there is the Four Swords. Now, the Four Swords is about sadness and sorrow. Now he's sitting half in light and half in dark, and that's the sense I get here, is watch how you go towards this relationship, whether you're going from one and you still got ties there, or keeping everything above ground so that we don't have a chance here to go in the wrong. I feel like this Virgo male, you may want to go back on some of my Virgo readings, because there's a lot of background stuff here about this guy finding his one and true love. But I think the trigger point here is that we got to do it above board. So don't go sneaking around on one relationship, break and then go, because it could, this new way that you want to go, it could really screw it up if they find out that you're cheating. It could destroy it. And I feel a high sense here for this Virgo male is what I'm picking up on, to have a lot of emotion in this area. Like there's something, either there's something attracting them in this way. It could be a past life scenario, Okay, so the last line. New love emotions that are coming forward. We have the Nine of Swords. Now, again, Nine of Swords is about physical attraction. The sense I get here is we may jump the gun and hit this one a little too quick. And by doing that, we ruin the classiness of it. Because this card here really does carry a classiness to it. This man really adores her. He wants to bestow her with gifts. But we may kind of hit it and quit it and ruin a sense of, how do I say, of longevity by going at it too fast. Does that make sense? Because that's the energy I'm getting here. It's giving me that kind of an energy, that feel that we could ruin it by going in here too fast. Now, this here is also involved in shame. So again, keep that in mind if we're making decisions here, what could cause us shame, and kind of stay away from that. Now, on the quick movement forward, traveling, we have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, where are we traveling to? A new direction. Why? Because we feel strong feelings, but be careful, because there's some stuff in the past that needs to be burnt up. And that's the thing here. There's some kind of tie to something here that still, it's not burnt up yet, and we should be going in a new direction. But the passion has brought us there, no less. Be wary of babies. So if we're having an affair while we're still hitched, be aware that we could have pregnancies while that will kind of expose the actual timeline here. This is what I'm getting. Like if we're trying to cheat on a partner and we don't want to give that other partner up and we go and have a one night stand and we have a baby, we got a timeline here we got to deal with. So be aware of that. So this is really the warning. Get a warning here, yeah, right? On top of the 4, which again could speak to sadness, worry, anxiety, picking and choosing the light or the dark side. How are you going to do this? So beware of that if you're at a crux point. Again, we have the 5 of Pentacles, and that's the whining and dining, right? There's one person here that is really, and I feel like this Virgo. Yeah, we're on Virgo. He may get overwhelmed in a way. He just hasn't been overwhelmed before. Like he's very much, he can take charge. He doesn't, I got feelings, but I can control that. I feel like not in this case. He's going to come across someone here. He's just going to feel everything for. He's going to be out in the backyard playing the violin. He just know what's come over him. Like, where did this come from? He's just feeling it hard. Now, I feel like he gets into a physical position with this person way too soon, makes him lose his class with her. And that is what I feel. He's sitting here going, man, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, why didn't I? This kind of thing. Now he questions why did I go so fast? Like, why can't I? But really what I'm getting energetically is he can't control himself. But he can do things on the right side. If he can pick the light side, the right thing to do. And there's some choices here that he can make where he does that. And I think the problem is we may not be able to want to front the ex-partner and let them know that they're going to be an ex here officially. I feel like there's something there that's fishy. Okay, but nonetheless, getting swept up romantically with a relationship, a new direction, but there's things in the past that aren't quite finished. And the 9 of Swords is a new physical relationship that is very much full of love and emotion that he's just like he's never felt or seen or whatever before. So, wow. And again, I'm getting a masculine, but this could be a feminine as well. Okay. Now, the planetary card to help with that. So if you see it coming and you know the warning sign here is just to keep things above board and do everything on the light side of things, you should be okay if you follow that routine. Moon in Aries talks about courage. I did shuffle. Believe in yourself, have the courage to go forward. And I feel like that's with the partner that we're trying to either move away from, or there's something there that has to be dealt with, and courage is needed to go and do that. And the moon simply states, the moon simply states that these are things that are kept in secret, right? And also the moon is about emotion. And look at all that red, right? It's all flaming red and joy. So this person brings not only passion out in this Virgo, but they bring joy and everything. Like there's a whole transition. And I feel like this may even be children that you have. You may have up to 3 children in the mix. And maybe that's the problem, is that we're trying to stay somewhat neutral, but we may not be like together, meaning we may be physically, but not. There's a lot of this in the air. So be aware of that, moon in Aries. Take charge, take your courage, and do what you need to do. And if we have children involved, the best is honesty here. Believe in yourself and go forward where you need to go. Children will understand. And hopefully that helps you. Wow. So that was, the Earth, Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. Some exciting events. I mean, over this time, universally, changes everywhere, and it does not exclude the romantic side here. So, okay, we got one more to go here. I was wrapping it up. Taurus, geez. Okay, 4918. Okay, first card for Taurus. Why did I feel like I went through 3? 6 of Wands. That is about victory, clarity. Go back to filming here. Okay. That's the victory dance, right? We're going through the forest. Woohoo! We accomplished something. We're feeling good and celebratory with ourselves and the way things are going at this time. Maybe this pause is something we needed to catch up with the rest of our life, so we're kind of enjoying it. Okay. Eight of Swords is next. Well, this talks about surrounded by illusions, basically. There's something here, even though we have a victory, there's something here that may be holding us back or we feel bound by. This is interesting because I felt very much a freedom feeling here. And it just may be because of what's going on, right? The sickness and being bound, housebound, right? Again, an illusion. Well, certain people can do, you kind of have to stay within the guidelines to keep safe at certain points here. Use your instinct. Now, Six of Wands is celebratory. Eight of Swords, we may at this time just feel locked down and not able to completely celebrate the way we want to at this time, right? And then on top of that, we have the Four of Cups. And look at that green is always about heart healing. And Four of Cups in most decks here, I feel like this person is dealing with some heart issues. They're going over and fine-tooth combing, going through their heart center, picking out the problems and dealing with them. Again, the Taurus finding solace in this time. Even though they're on lockdown, they're finding solace in certain areas of their mind where they can think about things that they normally don't have to think about. And that's going to help them evolve and heal forward. Six of Wands. What do we get to clarify there? We get beauty. So we may be feeling beautiful. This may be something to do with the love zone, because I'm getting very much love from here. So we may have, finished some accomplishments in our relationship that made us feel very happy and joyful. Okay, like successful communications. We may be healing with a partner and communicating and all of that. There's things here that are stressing us, but there's also progress being made. So there's a lot going on for these Taurus too. These Earth, there's a lot more going on for these Earth signs here underground because they're slow and steady. And I feel like the energy around them is really getting them to giddy up, get moving. There's too much stuff left undone. This is what I'm getting for all the Earth. So Eight of Swords. We have the reminder card, 28. Don't forget. Is there something you're not forgetting? And I feel like it's on purpose. We're trying to leave some things behind here. Now I'm going to read this again here. 8 and 2 is 10. Reminder. Don't forget. So we'll see what it says here. I need to remind you of a lesson you have already learned. Okay, yeah, this is about lessons. And again, I feel like we are doing good in the love area, but there's something here we may be forgetting about a lesson that we have learned there. When you draw the symbol for the reminder, you are being asked to remember all that you have learned about life and love up to now. Don't forget what you know already, as it isn't necessary to learn the same thing twice. Like we can take it forward on one lesson. We don't have to repeat it. That's what they're saying. We might be repeating a lesson here or getting ready to do that. So how else do you learn, right? If you don't repeat it. Keep the faith and be good to yourself. You can always start again if you make a mistake, if you stumble. I will surely catch you. Remember what you know. So it's basically a warning. And I don't know, this might have been in the last week's reading as well. Beware of the energy that we could be repeating a lesson. So getting lazy with, because we're attentive, we're noticing, right? And we're healing through it. And then it's like we want to relax and let go. And it's like, no, you got to stay on your toes here. Make sure we don't repeat. Repeat. It's like we don't want to take the lesson forward. We made an accomplishment. Then we're going to drop the lesson and go again and just go back to old ways. Again, this is what I'm getting. Okay. So next card on top of the Four of Cups, oath. We may have even taken an oath. That's even worse if we go back on that, right? So that's about oaths that promises we make to others or ourselves, even more so, because ourselves, right? It's harder. Well, it should be easier, but it's harder sometimes because nobody else knows. So if we go over that, will, right? This kind of a thing. So it may be in this way. You made an oath, I'm never going to do this again. And then we end up going down the road of do what, right? So it comes out in some kind of way here. So the love cards to help you out here. Beauty. On top of that, again, I felt like that was about romantic relationships or romantic partnerships or soft, compassionate partnerships that we're making headway in. But we got to remember the lessons that we learned and maybe an oath we made to a partner, whatever. On top of that, we get rest and relaxation is essential. There's a fundamental need to take breaks. And I do feel that the Taurus at this time is really breathing a sigh of relief, but mentally they're fatigued, right? Because there's not as much expected at this time, but they're making up for it in the mental like capacity. So kind of 6 of one, half dozen the other. But rest and relaxation is essential, so keep that in mind. Make sure that you're getting enough rest and relaxation to keep you energized. On the reminder, don't forget, lessons learned. You are limitless. Recognize truth, and you can do anything you choose to do. The unicorn, right? Going off in dreamland. Anything you want. And I feel like they want you to expand in your mind, in your mind's eye. Imagination, where you can go and what you can do, expand that, because we're not thinking big enough, is what they said. And they do have 2 swans here in this, and swans are always about a loving, caring, compassionate relationship, because they fiercely loyal, right? And they fight to the death of anything getting in the way of that. So I feel like we have the potential for this, but we may not feel, maybe taking it for granted, this kind of thing. So beware of that. And on the oath card, true love. This is a once in a lifetime love. So we may have a connection here that is really worth everything. But in our mind, we may be struggling with some maybe personal issues, right, of our own, and then dealing with a partnership. It just kind of takes away from that. So there is a potential here for truer and deeper love if we decide to commit ourselves to that, and also unbound ourselves to the box that we're in, unbox ourselves, and take into account the rest and relaxation is highly rewarded in the Taurus. Like when they get the rest and relaxation, man, they come out unbounded. They're really good. I mean, they have a lot of stamina for everything, but to rest and relax and come forward in the full potential is even better yet. So just being aware of that energy. And again, the pairings of unicorns here, right? There's pairings all along. And of course, the dolphins, high vibing, right? High vibes up here with the dolphins. And that's what we're not quite attaching to, the heavy joy in this relationship. We're not attaching, getting bogged down with the mundane is the feeling I get. But you can come out of that. So the love area for the Taurus, first card, 5 of Pentacles. This is the harlot. I'm not calling you a harlot. I'm just saying the harlot on the lap of a dude that kind of just wants to throw her off. She's looking, he's got lots of money to throw away. How about spending some money on me? Is this how you feel? Kind of thing. Let me analyze that. 5 of coins is really about, yeah. Actually, the essence they're giving me is we need to take life a little lighter. And the sense here too is with money, we could be a little frivolous with money if we want. I don't know if that's the greatest advice at this time, but that's what's coming through here. Okay, next card, 10 of Pentacles. What do you know? That's talking about financial stability and whatnot. Also here in the romance area, it talks about a man who's got high influence, kind of going, and she kind of reminds me of a maid going downhill here and taking advantage of things. Now, that can be taken in any flow here, right? Now, this guy almost looks like the same dude. I don't know if it is or not, but he's got a lot of money to burn, right? And if we take it in that way, give me a minute. They're making me aware of a wealthy man, okay, or a man with stability in finances, okay? And where does he want to put his attention, right? And the sense here is, what if he was the same man? And what if these were 2 women, 2 different women? What if there's a harlot and then one that's a maid that he sees as naive and vulnerable? Does this mean anything to you? This is kind of the scenario I'm getting for whatever reason. Now, through the beginning part of this, I was picking up on a very stable relationship, though there's a lot going on for the Taurus personally, internally, that may kind of fog that up a bit. So I don't know if the Taurus may be going through an identity crisis where they don't know if they're the fun loving party goer or the naive housewife type thing. Like, is this what we're playing with? I don't know. It's kind of what I'm getting. Next card, 5, 6, the Lovers. Yeah. That's actually, I got a picture of that up there, but there's no people in it. But I got the gondola and everything. Yeah, that's the typical, the Lovers card. He's taking her on the gondola and they're expressing appreciation. So boom, there you go. Okay, infinity cards will get underneath here. See if we can find out what's going on the 5 of coins. 41, we have happily single. So let me just tap in. I feel like this is the Taurus, and even though they are in a relationship, they are kind of independent within it, and they're happily so. So you got to watch that energy. Where do we sit here, really? Because we can isolate a partner if we're too happily by ourselves in the relationship. Because I'm picking up on a couple, no less. And if not, if there is a single here, there's a dude here that's just really trying to decide, or dude or dudette, trying to decide which way to go. Do I go with the young, naive, compassionate person, or do I go for the wild party, whatever? That's, yeah, we could have some Taurus here that are just dating and not knowing what to zero in on. So on the financial independence here, we have war. 10. Fight Club, that talks about arguing and quarrels and whatnot. So we may have some couples here that are arguing literally over money. Okay, so keep that in mind if that's the case. Or if you're single, you may be having a hard time. Just give me a minute. You don't want to you're just really tight with your money. It's really what I'm getting. It's like he wants to go out and date and everything, but doesn't want to invest, and it's causing problems, is what I'm getting. Okay, so on the Lovers card, what do we have there? Purity. 7 and 1 is 8. Purity of love. Okay, give me a minute, because they're splitting it into singles and couples here because of that single card. Single dude, he's out having fun, dating. He's really being, how you say, not frivolous, I'll put it that way, with these women. He's very, very, he's not lavishing with a lot of anything other than kind of showing off he's single, really, is a sense I get. But he's looking for purity in someone that he invests in a physical relationship, which is a good thing. And I feel like he's going to do that. Like, he's holding his money tight to his vest. Why? Because he's not going to invest in a woman until he knows he's complete with her on all levels, meaning physical and whatnot. Hey, I can't pronounce your name. I don't want to butcher it, but hello. So having a time here being single, and I feel like he's really prioritizing himself. But because he's not going outward financially, which shouldn't be a problem, but it may be causing problems for him, or it may be a trigger point for him. Don't want to invest in a woman until I know her heart is pure and my heart is pure and whatnot. And I'm not going to go in her direction physically either. I get this highly male until I know there's purity there that I can deal with, which is good. And that's typical of a slow and steady one. Well, hello from Turkey. Thanks for coming in. So yeah, very much kind of getting a single energy. Now it's flipping, because there was a coupled energy in the first part of the energies. Sorry, I didn't say that right. In the first part of the reading, there was a coupled energy. Now I'm getting more of a singled vibe here. Okay, so be aware of that. could cut off here from the couple. Okay, happily single again. Are we going to go for the wild child party girl, or the, you know, naive housewife? Da da da. Okay. On top of the happily single, we get 14 of Wands. Okay. Again, this guy's mask is black. I think he's bad, but I'm not sure. Yeah, he is the king of wands, this guy. So he can denote marriage as well. But it talks to entrepreneur, being honest, curiosity, benevolence. So he is beneficial. So they say he's wearing a black mask is bad, but then this one's wearing a black mask is good. Experience, good. Naturedness behind a formal front. So, and I do get that from, like, I'm getting a very masculine energy, someone who's kind of got a front and a shell to get through, and they're very much looking for a new partner, going out and taste testing things, maybe showing off a bit, but to himself, he's not lavishing a partner with anything. It's really, and we may even be coming on off with arguments. We may have a little bit of an ego shell to get through here. Nonetheless, this guy's good overall. He's good natured, good meaning, but he may come off a little brutish. I could say it that way. Now, we have on top of the Fight Club, again, the naive lady is behind here. We have 12. That's the Knight of Pentacles. And he is the opportunist. I'm going to read. He's waiting for the right moment. Yeah, so that goes along with everything. He is taking his scenery in, right? He's looking and he's going, and he's not going to give out too much before he gets type thing, and he's not gonna, and I feel very strongly this man is virtuous in the way that he's not gonna invest himself physically in a relationship until he knows that there's something of worth here. So this is good. I feel like this man, he has a strong integrity, a business minded, it could be as well, again, benevolent. So he's a very on the good side of things, good intending. Okay. But the 12 there is an opportunity. So waiting for the right time. I feel like not in a bad way. I feel like he's just waiting for his moment to strike, or the right person to come across his path, that kind of thing. But not only the right person, but going through the right pathways to get there. And in the end, he just wants a lover that is true of heart. He wants purity and all of that, which are good things to go through. So this is all good. Now, on top of that, to clarify that purity, we get the devil. What? Give me moments while I suss this out. Okay, yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? So though we may have the purest of intent, we may have someone come across our path and tempt us off initially our plan. Okay, so be aware of that. We got one row to straighten this out and see where it goes. On the 14, again, the benevolent, the entrepreneur, powerful man here. You know, if you're in a coupled relationship, it's just showing that you're very sturdy and strong. Waiting for a moment here to come true, to come to where I need to pounce. Now, on this benevolence, what do we have? The Fool. Okay, so new directions. We don't have a lot of baggage here. We're not carrying a lot of baggage. So this is a good thing, but be careful, we can get stung because they're making me notice that snake. And I feel like this is the snake over here. We could be running right into something here. So be aware. I'm feeling a masculine energy, so be aware. On the 12 here, waiting for the right opportunity. Get the Ace of Cups. Now that is love, true love relationship. The Ace of Cups is the one you want if you want it to come from heart. And also if you want purity, that's it. Okay. So this is good so far. So let's see where we end up here on this Devil card. What do we get? Okay. Four of Swords. That's pretty basic. Now, what happens here is we fall in love with someone, go off in a new direction, fall in love with someone, overpowering passion and whatnot. The Four of Swords here is someone being overly forceful in the bedroom. So be aware, you may get taken off in a direction intimately where, you get drawn in nice and smooth, but when we get into the bedroom, we get overbearing. So be aware of that energy, okay? That's what's going on here. We end up, whatever. We have a plan. We're going to, look for purity and whatnot, but somebody gets dragged out of, how do you say? Again, 18 plus. There's a sort of truth here, okay? So there's a certain amount of intimacy, truth and intimacy between these two, and I feel like these are the same too. But what I feel is that this Taurus had set a line for themselves. It said, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to, made an oath, okay? And then they broke their oath when it come to the bedroom. So this is the thing. And I feel like that's really down the line going to cause them some agony. So they got to think of that. So it's either we have someone here that has an overpowering sexual urge and they kind of push it too far in the bedroom and they know they shouldn't have and they feel bad. Or we have someone here that made a promise to themselves, I wasn't going to, and in a sense too, I'm getting for some, maybe like I'm not going to sleep with them in the first week or whatever the boundary that you set for yourself, right? I'm going to figure this out and make sure that it's a good solid relationship before I jump into bed. And then they kind of crash through that. That's really what I get. And kind of can't help themselves. And to a certain degree, there's some things in life are just set up that way for us to learn. But nonetheless, that's what I'm getting here. So hopefully this helps you straighten things out or see things from a higher vantage point. Again, this woman's wearing a black dress, so beware. It's tempting, right? And so we don't want to be in regret when we go forward. And that's the sense I get. Somebody's going to be in regret. I don't know who. Well, it actually comes down to the Taurus somewhere. But anyway, the planetary card, Eclipse in Scorpio, it talks about regeneration. Stand firm in the eye of the storm. 3 and 2 is 5, and that is tipping points, right? Moving, challenge points. Regeneration, the wind is blowing. Eclipse is about energy that stops and starts. So I think the scenario I'm really getting here for this Taurus is that we may jump into something real quick and then think, oh my God, I made a mistake. Stop it. And then maybe want to go back. This kind of thing. Very don't know what to do is what I'm getting. What does it say there? Stand firm in the eye of the storm. Yeah. We may be coming across, this little devil card here that comes for us. We may come across a little dust storm here. Like, right? Who you picking, the harlot or the happy housewife, that kind of thing. I think we're going to be tempted by something here. We know it's kind of going to burn our fingers a bit, but we're going to go in anyway. So they're saying, just stay calm through the whole thing. Do what you do best, which is cool and collected, and you'll get through it. And you just may have to regenerate some rules and boundaries off the bat, and you'll be okay, is the sense I get. Scorpio is highly deep energy. So I feel like that is connected highly to how emotionally, physically attracted, passionately to that person that we get. So good luck with that energy. That's heavy duty. A lot of people are being tempted by passion at this time is what I'm getting. I mean, Earth, it was through the Earth signs, but it'll go through a lot of others as time goes on. But anyway, those are the readings. So I think that is the end of it. Yeah, I did air, fire, and I just did water this morning, and that's Earth. So hopefully next week I will be in. And if you don't see them here, they will be in my Infinity Room, Infinity Readings and Reviews on Facebook. So if you want to catch those next week, go in there. And I do a lot of other stuff in there as well. There's a whole group of people. I think we got 200 some members in there. And they just all are just catching their readings and whatnot. I'm having a hard time getting in there live. They changed the whole format. So I decided to do it out here, but I think I'll go back and forth just to give an even spread throughout. So anyway, take care, guys. My mouth doesn't want to work. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch you next week. Take care, have fun, and be kind.